For the Kansas City Chiefs, they are right in the middle of their 65th camp in franchise history, the 14th here in St. Joseph, Missouri, on the Missouri Western State University campus, and a team that is indeed chasing history. Defending the Kingdom is brought to you by Ticketmaster. So many incredible home games and road games, and it's become very popular to follow the Chiefs' Kingdom wherever they're playing, and Ticketmaster is your new best friend. McKinnon is in at running back. First down and goal to go. Play action fake. Right side throw. Touchdown! Kansas City! McCole Hardman with the catch on the right side. A 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. And hi, everyone. Welcome to this camp edition of Defending the Kingdom. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. And being here in St. Joseph's awesome. We're going to entitle this episode called Tempo. And what we saw in the spring and summer, and hopefully that we captivated for all of you with the DTKs, was the fact that there was a real tempo in the offseason. We have seen that not only continue, but to move forward. Everybody in this camp that is either in a uniform or coaching this team is acting like they've never won it before. And to me, that is very, very apparent and also very impactful.
There's a real tempo to how we're slow roasting up here right now, too. It's so hot. We have this black desk that's just glaring sun back at us. If I put my hands on the table, I'm like, it's like an oven. But, yeah, the tempo up here has been great. That's the thing that separates the Chiefs, I think, from so many other championship teams in recent years, is that the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl for the second year in a row, first time in 19 years that has happened. And really there was no talk about, hey, we won the Super Bowl again. It was all about, okay, yeah, but we want the three-peat now. There was an eye on history right away. And I said this in our live stream a little earlier today, that you don't get to the three-peat by talking about the three-peat. You and I can talk about it, but for the players, that doesn't do them anything. What they need to do to get to the three-peat, the eventual goal, is put in the work every single day. And that's not just game day or practices during the season. It's off-season practices. It's OTAs in May and in June. And it's training camp practices on days like this where it's hot. It's every day. You're living in the dorms. But we're seeing this team get better and better every single day. And if you're a Chiefs fan hoping for some history this year, that's very exciting.
A reminder that our Defending the Kingdom podcast from training camp here in St. Joseph is brought to you by the awesome people at Mosaic Life Care. They have been fantastic. They're part of the Mayo Care system, and they're great here in serving the four-state area, as we talk about, of course, in northwest Missouri, but in southeast Nebraska, southwest Iowa, and then northeast Kansas. But being part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, Mosaic is investing into the future of your health care and investing in the people that they serve all throughout the year. They're impactful, very impactful here at training camp in what they do, not only with the players or the coaches, with the folks that attend camp, but they're amazing partners. So a big shout out to the folks here at Mosaic, the presenting sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs training camp and of these Defending the Kingdom podcasts. And of course, Mosaic will join us not only here as we have taken the spaceship that Matt navigates for us around the world, we've taken it into the solar system, and we have brought you now to the surface of Mercury, where we need Mosaic Life Healthcare to come and actually give us an IV.
The IV right here.
Is right here. Please. It's so hot.
I can't imagine practicing in it. We're just doing a show. It's so hot.
It reminds me of the old Austin Powers movie, as I know I'm dating myself, where Mustafa goes down. He goes, it's so hot. It's so hot here. So thank you, Will Ferrell, for some great lines. But let's indeed take an IV. Thank you, Mosaic, and go around the world.
It's day 4, and we're already entering into, delirium. It's just Groundhog Day up here.
I'm quickly getting there.
I don't know what day of the week it is, but it's day 4. All right, here's some around the world, some awesome people that I met up here at training camp. Met Duran up here today. He is, yes, named after Duran Cherry, which I thought was awesome. Really cool guy.
So cool.
Thanks for saying hi, Duran. I met Jeremy McGuire from Smith Center not too long ago. I think it was a day that you were elsewhere doing something.
Not Jerry McGuire.
Not Jerry. No, not Show Me the Money. No, not Jerry McGuire. Jeremy McGuire from your hometown of Smith Center wanted me to tell you hi. So hi from Jeremy.
Awesome.
I met a whole family the other day. Met Dalla, Jeff, Dallas, and Silas from Springfield, Missouri. We often call that aside from Kansas City, the mecca of Chiefs Kingdom, because we have so many fans from Springfield. So met an awesome family.
Wait a minute. It's Dallas, Dalla,
Jeff, and Silas.
So if Dalla and Silas are together,
it's Dalla
it could
and
be
Jeff
Dallas and Dallas.
Dalla and Jeff are the parents, and then Silas and Dallas are the kids.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome family.
Very confusing if you're mad at him, I think.
Thank you for saying hi.
Yeah.
Also met Shane up here at camp, met Clinton up here at camp, and lastly, truly like 5 minutes ago, met Kyle from Blue Eye on the Arkansas-Missouri border just a few minutes ago. So shout out to you all. Thanks for saying hi. If you come up to training camp, Mitch and I are in one of these white tents at the top of the hill. Come say hi. Watch some football with us.
And I've got 3 to add. Right before training camp, 3 amazing people. You know, it's these stories of these Kingdom defenders is great. In 8th grader, I was helping Hy-Vee with the IndyCar race weekend in Newton, Iowa, right before training camp, the weekend before camp. And it's 3 IndyCar races and 4 great concerts. It's 72 hours. It's just wild. And so I do a lot of speaking. They hear me on the PA. I'll be on. But this gal is there. She's an 8th grader from Brookings, South Dakota.
Okay.
Home of the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, right? The FCS champions.
Arch enemy of my wife's South Dakota Coyotes, but go on. Also
home of Daktronics, by the way. Every scoreboard that you see in the world is made in Brookings, South Dakota or close. But her name is Gabrielle Watson, and she's an 8th grader. And the people from Hy-Vee go, she's waiting for you over in this media tent, and she wants to meet you. Matt, she knows everything about everything. The past. You and I are kind of crazy, a little Rain Man-ish with this stuff. We are not this girl's equal. She knows everything. She was dressed to the hilt in Chiefs stuff. Didn't know I was going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's dressing to, catch my attention. She just is that way every day. And she has all these jerseys. She does a great job. She's homeschooled. She does special work to earn money, saves part of it, but then the rest of it she spends at the pro shop online.
Wow.
And she's like, I was trying to decide, what do I do for a Watson jersey? Because her last name is Watson. Do I get Justin Watson, right? Or what do I do? Do I, get
Jalen
Watson, right? Or Justin or Jalen? What do I do? I said, well, when we're on defense, get Jalen Watson's jersey 35, and when we're on offense, switch it over to Justin Watson's 84.
Yeah.
You could see the light come on. Her dad's like raising his eyebrows of like, it's another, $500 on jerseys. But she's an amazing gal, 8th grader, great athlete, but a Kingdom defender. Another one, his name is Rice. I just spoke at an event in Kensington, Kansas, very near Brother McGuire's hometown and my hometown of Smith Center. But he comes up in a Rice jersey, number 4 at this event. And his family during games makes him leave the home and cannot let him watch. He has to listen to every game. So where I grew up is about 8 miles from Kensington. He went to the top of the hill overlooking my farm to listen to Super Bowl 58 because his family had exiled him. He's a jinx if he watches the game, they think.
He didn't watch the Super Bowl.
No, he listened to it, and he was staring at my farm the whole time.
Wow.
Because his family exiles him from watching games because he's a jinx. He's got his Rice jersey on, number 4. He's a Rice. His name is Rice. And it's like, how cruel is this? But he's the jinx.
Have you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Yes.
I love that movie. Kind of a similar thing where Billy Beane can't actually watch the games. Even listening to him makes him anxious. And he's driving, listening to the game. And then I think he's in the weight room or something when they win their 20th game in a row, ironically against the Royals. And it's just, he didn't actually watch it. It's just he heard it. He did his part by not actually watching it. It sounds like this guy. That's dedication right there.
So Brother Rice, wearing number 4, hey, he's exiled. He has to listen to the games. That's great. But, wow, you guys are rough on this guy. And a third one, and this one's serious because I met him, Daniel Coronado. He actually lives in Topeka now. He's one of the store managers of Hy-Vee in Topeka, wounded twice in Afghanistan. This guy's a total stud. He went and walked through the mission that he had, and it was brutal, very similar to what the 12-strong guys had to do. I've talked about him. I talked about those guys last year on Defending the Kingdom. This guy was wounded just in a brutal firefight. He went back, was wounded again. He's an amazing dude. If you're in Topeka and you go to Hy-Vee, find the store managers named Daniel Coronado. All 3 of these people, all 3 of them, of course, in conversations, including the 8th grader, Gabrielle Watson, said, say hi to Matt.
Well, I'm on
Say hi to Matt. They're Kingdom defenders. Like, hey, when you see Matt, say hi. So, hi, Matt.
Well, hello, everyone. Can I give you one more?
Sure.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, earlier this offseason, this guy was named the 2024 Kansan of the Year, and he was in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago and was honored in front of all these Congress people and legislatures and important people in Washington, D.C. as the 2024 Kansan of the Year. So congratulations, Mitch.
Thanks. It's way too kind, and they were incredible hosts and hostesses. What an amazing time to be there with my 91-year-old dad and my wife. Was
so cool.
It's so blessed. It was a blessing. So thanks for saying that. You're too kind. All right, let's jump into this team and what we've seen so far. You don't want to hype it. But, Matt, you and I talk every day. It's hard to stop the hype train and what we've seen. And tempo, a big-time tempo that's increased. And for the offense, kind of the way we ended our last podcast before the plant shut down, I've seen just take off. The first day, we talked about the third level of the offense being open again. An amazing 62-yard throw. A lot of people have seen it on social. If you haven't, find it. From Mahomes to Xavier Worthy, who makes a spectacular catch against great coverage by Brian Cook. And that just started the lights, and it's just been lit up ever since.
Listen, Coach Reed will be the first one to say this. There are always areas to improve and to get better. On day 4, which is today, of training camp with the full team, it's not a finished product. Long way to go until they are a finished product. But on day 1, Mitch and I were looking at each other like we might have a chance to be significantly better than we were last year when, by the way, we won the Super Bowl for a second straight year. And the third level of the offense, the field, the deep passing game, is particularly of note here because we've seen some things over the last several days that have us excited. And, yeah, on day 1, I mean, it was just a classic Patrick Mahomes play where I'm sure everyone's seen it. Scrambles to his left, then without setting his feet, like on the move, fires at 60 yards in the air. And Xavier Worthy, fastest player in the history of the NFL Scouting Combine, despite good coverage by Brian Cook, caught the ball for a touchdown. It was electric. It was awesome. And we've seen a lot of that stuff. We've seen Hollywood Brown stretch the field consistently throughout this camp. Even Rashee Rice yesterday, great one-on-one against Trent McDuffie deep down the sideline during 11-on-11. Rashee Rice won that route and scored a touchdown deep down the field. So how can the Chiefs get better going into this season? We all know there are some areas maybe the offense could get better after last year. The deep passing game, at least so far here on day 4, is back open for business.
Those of you who are watching and listening to Defending the Kingdom will see over my left shoulder and Matt's right this group of trees. In 2017, in the apprentice year of Patrick Mahomes, I saw him throw a red zone touchdown pass of a window of about this big. For those of you listening, it's about 6 inches apart. I walked down to those trees and just walked around for a while going, all of our lives have changed. I felt the same way with the 62-yard pass. It's a renaissance of sorts. But I just went for a walk because it was such an amazing play. And you mentioned the others that have joined in. But Patrick Mahomes is so far on fire in this camp. The other thing that excites me about Hollywood Brown is his consistency.
Yeah.
We're going to do a live stream. Make sure you hook up with our live streams that Matt and I are doing during training camp. But we're going to talk about the wide receiver room. There's 14 of them here. But Hollywood Brown is not only making flash plays. Matt, he's making something happen every day. We saw it on OTAs. Can he continue that in camp? Yes, he has. And they're big-time plays, great routes, great catches against really good coverage, and yet he's doing it every day. The consistency, I don't want to say has surprised me, but it's been noteworthy.
Consistency is the best way to describe him. Every day you know what you're getting, and it's a plus player, and it's in different ways. Really 2 ways stick out to me. So the first, again, is the vertical passing game. He had a great catch yesterday, deep down the field, despite double coverage. I think it was during 11-on-11. Just excellent ball tracking ability. Talked about that a lot during the summer, that it's one thing to be very fast, but it's another to be able to track the ball in the air. And that way Patrick Mahomes can kind of throw you open. And we saw that yesterday. We've seen it kind of throughout camp and really during the offseason training program. That Hollywood Brown, his ball tracking ability is elite, I think, and he's going to stretch the field for us. But it's also the stuff underneath. It's quick slants, it's over routes, things that maybe are 5 to 15 yards down the field. His speed is so smooth out of his breaks that he can catch the ball in stride and get upfield in a hurry. And those things sound kind of obvious, but not always the case. And Hollywood has just really impressed me in that regard. these are two different kinds of players, but in terms of the consistency, we talked about this yesterday, kind of reminds me about Juju Smith-Schuster a couple years ago. Every day you kind of knew when Juju was healthy what you were getting. Consistent player who's going to come out there and make plays for you. I kind of have seen the same sort of vibe from Hollywood so far in this camp. Only difference is I think Hollywood can stretch the field a bit more than Juju could.
Well, what you're doing is combining maybe the field stretching ability of a Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying that Hollywood's Tyreek, but
It's fast.
And then you throw in the Juju consistency. That's the combination you're getting. And that's why fans should be excited. We don't want to overdo it. We're just telling you we see it every day. The other thing with the offensive side of the ball, what people are asking about, is the offensive line. We did a live stream on this. If you can find it, if it's archived, we'll go into detail on it. But the four that are staples, of course, are left guard to right tackle. And I'm excited about Juwan Taylor because I've seen him kind of move forward here. And the way he ended last year in the postseason has carried over to his offseason and here to training camp. And then we know about the interior three, the best in the National Football League. It's left tackle. And people ask us every day, they ask you and me every day, whether it's on social or in private conversations or face-to-face conversations, what about left tackle? Well, it's wide open. Wanye Morris, of course, who played thrown to the fire last year with 4 games in December they had to start. Chiefs were 2-2 in those games. And then Kingsley Suama'atia, who was the second-round draft pick for the Chiefs out of BYU. What are you seeing there? Because it's something that we're going to watch every day to see who wins that job and how they win it.
It's the top battle of camp, and on one end you might be saying, don't love that we don't know who our left tackle is yet, but on the other side, it's a good problem to have when you have 2 young players with significant upside competing for that role because they're only going to make each other better. It would be a different story if we had like a 33-year-old and a 29-year-old competing for that spot and it was 2 journeymen. No, these are 2 highly drafted players who really have both earned an opportunity to be a left tackle in the NFL, and they're competing against each other to show which one's going to do it here in Kansas City. In the case of Suama'atia, he was a left tackle at BYU last year, didn't allow a single sack. He's only 21 years old. Keep that in mind. 21 years old, so a long career ahead of him and an opportunity to grow over the next several years and hopefully over the next several days here in this camp. So he has some significant upside, I think. It was cool seeing Juwan Taylor walk down the hill with him today, had his arm around him and telling him some tips and things of the trade. That was awesome. So I think Kingsley's coming along. But Wanye Morris is a player that I think has earned the opportunity to maybe start camp as the guy and see if he can keep that role throughout camp because Wanye, he had left tackle snaps last year for this team. He started 4 games for the Chiefs down the stretch. That Bengals game late in the season was like a playoff game. We don't really remember it that much because of everything that happened after it, but if the Chiefs don't win that game against the Bengals, who knows what happens the rest of the year. He's facing some very good pass rushers in that game. I think just 3 pressures allowed over like 40 pass blocking snaps. So Wanye Morris, yeah, there were some things he could learn from last year, but certainly a lot of good stuff to take into this season. Challenge for him now is to build on it. You don't just get to be the left tackle because you played left tackle last year. You got to earn it out here against a very good player in Kingsley. But we're going to get the answer to that question when the pads come on. And the pads come on Friday. Right now it's kind of mental reps, kind of going through the motions, trying to make sure you know what you're supposed to do. But when the pads come on over the next several days, we're going to get the answer to that question.
And those guys are the guard dog on the back porch of Patrick Mahomes. That's why, I mean, this role obviously is critical. You know, Trey Smith is my granddaughter's favorite player.
Yeah.
My granddaughter Cora loves Trey Smith. Wears the 65 jersey. She likes Mahomes and Kelsey and the skill, but she loves Trey Smith.
She just likes Patrick Mahomes.
She likes him. But she really loves Trey Smith. One, he's a gentleman off the field, but he is a dog on the field, meaning D-A-W-G, dog. He's coming after you. Go watch the play against Denver where he wipes out 3 guys. The way he hits Justin Simmons, he wipes out the linebacker on the screen, and then he goes and just buries Justin Simmons in the screenplay that's become famous. Kingsley Suama'atia is a boxer. You get the sense, if he can get the technique down, there's a little of Trey Smith in him because there's some dog in him, meaning I'm not just going to take blows from pass rushers. I'm going to deliver blows. And I think that could be, we'll see how this goes, but there's an edgy part of him, and that was part of the scouting of Kingsley, is the fact that he may brawl you and knock you and make your a pass rusher's life not so fun.
And it always helps when you have someone in your corner who's really good at what you're trying to be good at, and his cousin is Penei Sewell, who is the all-pro right tackle for the Detroit Lions, one of the best tackles in the NFL, if not the best tackle in the NFL. They're like best friends. You can call them, bounce ideas off of them, and having that guy in your corner is a big deal. So, yeah, sky's the limit for Kingsley Suamataia. It's an exciting development. The Chiefs got him late in the second round. A lot of people thought he would be a first-round pick. And again, we really don't know much with the offensive line until the pads come on Friday and beyond. But I'd say it's a really fun battle to follow and really one of the storylines of camp.
His other cousin's Puka Nakua, so it tells you about his bloodlines, right?
What's in the water
also,
there?
I don't know, but it's good. Orem, Utah. Let's go into the defense here because the defense last year was spectacular. While the offense was fighting through the drops and the holds and being minus 11 in the giveaway takeaway, the defense was spectacular. And scoring defense, second in the league, second in sacks. Matt, I'm going to say right now, this defense, even if it's not statistically better, because those things can get convoluted because of the way the game goes and if the offense is better. But I think this Chiefs defense, what I saw this summer, spring and summer, you and I both watched it, and what we're seeing in camp so far could be maybe the nastiest defense in the NFL. It's the biggest free agent signing this year was Chris Jones re-signing with the Chiefs. Now that Aaron Donald has retired, Chris Jones becomes, not even argument, the best interior defensive lineman in this league, bar none. Karlaftis, Mike Dana, we can go right down the line. The linebackers have to make a jump up. The DBs. Because the other question would be, what's going to go on? L'Jarius Sneed is gone. Pro Bowl level, right? And you're putting Trent McDuffie, an all-pro first-teamer, outside. Well, he's not in the slot. Shamari Connor, how's he doing that? So far he's doing not only fine, but very well. I'm super fired up about this defense. They've befuddled Mahomes out here. As good as the offense has been, the defense has had wins. They've had big wins, and they've blitzed Mahomes into interceptions a couple times. And this defense, I think, has a chance to be really, really, really good.
This is something else we talked about on our live stream. When you come up to camp, of course, you want to see the Mahomes crazy arm angle touchdowns. I totally get it. We freak out when we see those things too. But you want to see the defense make plays as well, or else the team isn't getting better. And fortunately, the defense has looked really good in this camp. I would say day 2, and maybe today as well, day 4, the defense won the day. The defense is what stood out. And that's a good thing. You want to see the defense out there because they're competing against the best quarterback in the NFL and some really good skill position players, and they're succeeding and playing well. So that's a good thing, and you want those guys to do well in these practices. Really, the defense that we saw last year, that was, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL, it began with the 2022 draft class, and maybe even the 2021 draft class with Nick Bolton. But the 2022 draft class with players like George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams, Leo Chanel, all those guys contributed to a defense that was really, really good their rookie year and the best defense in the league last year. Those guys are still ascending. Keep that in mind. I think George Karlaftis has a chance to be a star this season. I mean, he has been so good in how he has gotten better and better every year in his career, and I think he has a chance to really break out this season. Trent McDuffie is a top 3 corner in the NFL right now. I mean, Pro Football Focus ranked him as the number 2 corner in the league going into this season, behind only Sauce Gardner. You have a superstar at corner. Now, there are a couple questions. Who's going to be that other corner opposite of Trent McDuffie? Right now, probably Joshua Williams. He has to earn that role, but another member of that draft class. Who's going to fill that role in the slot? Shamari Connor has a great shot at doing that. The guy the Chiefs got in the 4th round last year, kind of a safety corner hybrid sort of player. There's some young ascending players here that the defense, as good as it was last year, wasn't only contingent on some veterans that maybe aren't here anymore. It was also built on some really young players who are only going to get better. So they have to take that mandate out here at practice. They have to make sure they attack it and that they do improve. But I'm very excited about the defense going into this year. And you couple that with what we've seen from the offense, might be the best team we've had here in a while.
Yes, and Brian Cook's back.
Yep.
And he's back. And he's played at a high level here. Even though he got beat on that crazy play at 62 yards, he had perfect coverage on it. It was just an amazing play by Mahomes and worthy to beat him. But he's back. And remember his awesome play in Frankfurt, Germany. So him being back, I hope Najee Johnson kind of tweaked the knee today. He had the ACL last year. I hope it's okay.
Yeah.
But that just was before we started the podcast. We heard that. But he's back, hopefully. So this defense has a chance to be really, really, really good. We'll talk in future podcasts about special teams, especially this new kickoff rule, which we talked about a little bit before the plant shut down. No one's thinking about it. No one's talking about it. And wait till the first preseason game. You're going to go, what is this? I gave the analogy, spoke in Springfield the other night. This is like changing the national currency to Bitcoin only on Tuesdays. Only on Tuesdays. That's how crazy this is. It's going to decide games. But we'll jump into that and how the Chiefs could actually use it to their advantage to be even better than a year ago. But I'll close it this way, because I've said this too, is the fact, and by the way, this podcast and the ones throughout camp, not only brought to you by Ticketmaster, but by the folks at Mosaic. Again, they're part of the Mayo Care Clinic system, and they're terrific in covering this 4-state area. So, but the fact that, are the Chiefs going to have 44 drops? Are the Chiefs going to be minus 11 in the giveaway takeaway ratio? Are they going to have 20 holds? Are they going to be 5-4 at home? Just think about this. If you just put some sense into it, this team could be way better than they were a year ago.
And just some general bad luck at times last year. Just some things didn't go the Chiefs' way during the regular season last year that were somewhat random. But the beauty of this team is they overcame all of it, overcame all of those things. And this year, I know it's training camp. It's only day 4, but the things that we're seeing so far has me really fired up for what this team can achieve, what it can be this year. They're in a great position to go make some history this season. And I'll tell you what, if you're just listening to the podcast and you hear the lawnmower in the background, that sound right there, that means football is almost back.
It's back for us right now, being in this camp. But again, thanks to folks at Mosaic and for Ticketmaster. We're going to keep you. We're going to do more DTKs from camp. We'll also have our live streams. Make sure you join us. But you should be excited in the kingdom about this team. And they'll just continue to ascend. It's going to be fun to watch them, those battles. He's Matt McMullen, senior team reporter. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. We will now redo our IVs and get off the surface of Mercury and fly back to our own solar system.
Get in an ice bath or something.
Please. Cold tub.